What's up everybody, welcome to the first informational video of the series. So in the previous video I talked about the fact that I might make a video like this showing you or telling you the way that I like to set up my calories depending on the goal. Even though I enrolled in the summer shredding series, I told you that I was not going to cut down because look at me, I'm just like skinny. Like just like this guy, just like this guy right here. So I'm very skinny and I want to gain some weight, gain some muscle. Even though the purpose of the series was to like lose body fat primarily and lose weight, yeah, I decided to go like the other way. But just because I'm doing that, that doesn't mean that I didn't get you like covered for this. So in this video, or if I might split it in two because it might get too long, but in this video I'm going to explain how to find your caloric maintenance, how to set up your macros for either bulking or cutting. And so in this video I'm going to explain how I personally like to set up my calories and my macros for either goals, either bulking, like gaining weight, gaining some muscle, or losing a weight and primarily losing body fat. So that being said, let's dive into this video. So for purposes of the video, I took a target dummy. That's me post-accident with a weight of 140 pounds rounded up because I was much less than this. So I took the 140 number because it's easier, it's round, and the calculation is gonna be easier. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You yourself, you know your weight. I prefer the weight in pounds because for the formula of finding your daily energy expenditure, which I found to work the best in my case. So there are multiple calculators online that do all the things for you if you plug in the information, but I find this formula to work the best, which I'm going to get into in a moment. But before we jump into the video, this is step 0, that's why I put it here. So step 0 should be for you to set a goal. Know in which direction you are going, because otherwise you're gonna get lost along the way. Meaning the first hiccup is gonna throw you off balance. So set a goal. You wanna gain some frame, gain some muscle mass, then choose to go with the bulk, and which I'm going to explain primarily in this part of the video, like the first part. Or do you wanna lose weight and lose some body fat and get like shredded or get leaner for the summer or so? I want to pursue a cut, because depending on which goal you choose, you'll find that you might need to eat more or eat less than your daily maintenance. For whatever reason, I have no idea, but I'm nervous as hell to make this video, so please bear with me. Okay, so now that we touch base on the goal, assuming I think you know what your goal is, right? Either gaining weight or lose weight. It's pretty much self-explanatory. You just take a path and go with it. So now that you have the goal, the first thing we have to do together is going to be like step 1, to find the maintenance, which is also called total daily energy expenditure, or TDE. This is like the short form for all this thing. So a daily maintenance, or the TDE, is the amount of calories that you, me, or any other person would need on a daily basis to pretty much maintain its weight. If you eat this amount, you won't be gaining weight and you won't be losing weight. That's the purpose of maintenance. So as I mentioned before, there are many calculators out there that just poop out numbers for you if you input the data, but I use them and they always like overshoot my calories by a bunch or undershoot them. But the formula that I found to work the best for me and like other individuals that I did this for was to take the body weight and use a multiplier. And this multiplier doesn't come like out of the blue. It comes from Brad Schofeld's study from 2007, and which takes in consideration a lot of factors which should not be talked in this video. It's gonna like take a whole video, whatever. But multiply it by 14 to 16, so body weight times 14 to 16, depending on the activity that you have on a daily basis. So for example, me as a student, I walk around the campus, I go to the gym, buy food, I walk, I don't know, around school and stuff like that, but the chunk of my day spent at the desk doing pretty much nothing but reading. And so I'll say I'm like average-ish, like lightly active, moderately active. I also train 3 to 4 times a week, so I chose a multiplier of 15, which with the target dummy of 140 pounds, it's body weight 140 pounds times 15 gives us 2100 calories as the maintenance, the amount that this target dummy or me post accident rounded up would need to eat on a daily basis to maintain its weight. So take your weight in pounds, that's why I used pounds here. In kilograms it might be a different multiplier, but too complicated to do that. The formula was already like in pounds. So take your weight, go on Google, find a converter if you use kilograms, and just convert the weight that you have in kilograms and pounds, and use a multiplier depending on your activity. If you're very active, you might want to multiply by 16. If you're not very active, you might want to go with 14, or if you're moderately active, just go with 15, like in between. But this is just going to give us an estimate of daily maintenance, because the amount of calories that a body needs on a daily basis fluctuates like daily, pretty much. Because one day we might walk more, one day we might walk less, but on average, this should be a good starting point. Now, to go like step 1.1 a bit more in depth, just a bit more, if you want to fine tune it, just go eat the same amount of calories for 2 weeks and weigh yourself in the morning on an empty stomach and write it down. And at the end of the week, make an average of the weigh-ins, because the weight is going to fluctuate daily. And then do it for another week and then compare the results. If you've gained weight in those weeks, then your maintenance, or the estimated maintenance, might be too high and you should drop your calories a bit. If you lost weight, then your maintenance is up there, so you should increase your calories a bit to reach the maintenance. But estimately, this will get you like to the closest, or for me this was the closest that I got by using this formula. So take your body weight in pounds, multiply it with 14, 16, and then the result is going to be your estimated maintenance. Okay, so then we know our maintenance. The first goal that I'm going to talk about is step 2, bulking, gaining weight. And I put here faster I misspelled it. Come on. Muscle gain. Why? Because you can gain muscle even in a cut, because it's about positive nitrogen balance, whole another topic. But in a bulk, because you have more calories, more energy than your body needs, you will pretty much, the body will put an excess of energy into building muscle, so you'll have a faster muscle gain rate, pretty much. So let's go into it. So the bulking calories. First off, we will need to determine the calories, and then we'll talk about macros. So the bulking calories, the way that I like to do it for myself is take the maintenance that we found in step 1, which was 2100 calories, and add in between 200 and 400 calories to that. Because, well, it depends. If you're a beginner, I would say 400 to 500 calories surplus, because you are new to training and your body will use those calories to build muscle. You'll build very fast, and mostly you'll build primarily muscle at that point, because your body is not used to the stress of working out, so we'll use the excess calories for muscle gain. But since I've trained for a while, the way I do it is I go somewhere in between 200 and 400, and this time I went with 300 myself. If I would be more advanced, I would go probably with 150 to 200 calories excess. Now you know yourself in which situation you are and how fast you want to gain weight. The point of bulking is not to gain as much weight as possible, but is to gain as much muscle as possible with minimum fat gain. So if you want to minimize the fat gain, you basically want to set up your bulking calories. You want to add a surplus that will maximize the muscle gain and minimize the fat gain. So the calories are going to be 2100 plus 300. So the starting calories are going to be 2400 or 2400 calories to begin with. Now, we determine the calories, and after we know the calories, what we want to do is to set up our macros, because the foods that we eat, like the energy, comes from the macronutrients. The primary macronutrients that our body needs are protein, carbs, and fats. Also, there's alcohol, which has, and it's a whole different story. It's pretty much 7 calories per gram of alcohol, and I'm not gonna get into that. But protein, 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs has the same 4 calories. The fats are more caloric dense than proteins and carbs, and a gram of fat has 9 calories. So now that we have our calories, we will set up our macros, which that's the thing that we track usually on a daily basis when using the application, or when we weigh our food and stuff like that. We track macros, which will give us the calories that pretty much add up from the macronutrients. So I'm gonna take an example, like I'm gonna do it live. It's gonna take a while to write everything out. I'm gonna use the black because I think it's you could see it much better. So the example is the target dummy, and for bulking we'll take the 2400 calories, right? So we have 2400 kilocalories, and there are certain macronutrients like proteins and fats that are minimum requirements that our body needs. You need a minimum amount of protein to maximize the muscle protein synthesis and the muscle gain phase. And also you need the minimum requirements of fats for hormonal balance, like brain function, organ function. You need those. Carbohydrates also aid in the hormonal balance and like daily mood and energy, and so, but are not as essential as proteins and fats. So based on the studies done so far in a bulking phase, because they're in a caloric surplus, like your body gets more energy than it needs, a protein rate of 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight should be sufficient to provide the required amount of protein in order to maximize muscle protein synthesis. Now, if you prefer to eat more meat and you prefer a higher protein diet, by all means you can go more than 1 gram, 1.1, 1.2, 3, 4, but that should pretty much be your cap. I mean, you could go even higher, nobody's stopping you, but it will take you calories that you could allocate to fats and carbs, which might play differently in your situation, but definitely try it out. Also, there's a minimum requirement of fat, which should be from like 25% of your calories to 40% of your calories, which should come from fat. The way that I like to set up for myself right now is use like 30-35% of the calories from fat, and we'll get to the example and explain, and the rest of the calories will come from carbs. So now let's get into the actual example. So we have me post-accident at 140 pounds with 2400 calories on a bulk. I like to take the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for protein, because it's 1 gram per pound of body weight, which I'm 140 pounds, it's going to be 140 grams of protein. Let's use the proper marker. So 140 grams of protein times 4, because each protein is 4 calories per gram. It's going to give us 560 calories. Now, I'll set the fats to 30% of the calories that I have, which is, so 30% or 0.3 times 2400 calories. It's going to give us 720 calories coming from fat. Now, because fat is 9 calories per gram, I'm going to divide the 720 by 9, which is going to give me 80 grams of fat. I'm going to change it here too. Protein, fat. Now carbs. We are going to determine those. Now, we have set up our proteins and our fats, like the essential macronutrients that we need, and the rest, as we talked about here, we go to the carbs. Now, because we know like 560 calories are coming from protein, because 140 grams of protein times 4 calories are 560, and 80 grams of fat, which is 720 calories, we are going to add both of those up, which is going to be 560 plus 720. It's going to give us 1,280 calories. We already have 1,280 calories coming from fats and from protein. We are going to subtract from the total, from the 2,400, we're going to subtract the 1,280 calories. So we're going to do 2,400 minus 1,280, which is going to give us 1,120 calories that are going to be allocated to carbs. Now, because 1 gram of carb is 4 calories, we are going to divide this number, the 1,120 by 4. So I'm going to use the red one because the blue is not working anymore. So dividing it is going to result in 280 grams of carbs. So now that we did all math, I hope I was coherent. I'll just erase this and just put the macros that we have on the screen. Okay, so we have determined our bulking macros and we are all set up for bulking, for the start of the bulk, because we have 140 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, and 280 grams of carbs. If you multiply the protein by 4, the fats by 9, and the carbs by 4, it's going to give you a total of 2,400 calories, which we've set up our macros for our calories for bulking. Now, this is the fine-tuned part for bulking. After a certain period of time, your body will get used to the macros that we've initially set up, because you will gain weight and you will progress, you'll build muscle, and your body will use more energy in order to sustain itself and to keep the new maintenance. You'll pretty much attain a new maintenance. At that point, you will need to increase your calories even more. The way that I like to do it for myself, like, it's to increase the calories by 50 to 100 calories if in 2 weeks I'm not gaining any weight. I'm still gonna do the same process as I told you on the maintenance part. Like, I'll weigh myself every single day and I'll compare like week to week the averages to see if I gained weight or I lost weight, because those macros might just not work at some point, and you need to adjust, you need to increase them, or you need to decrease them if you gain too fast. A good rough estimate is to gain 2 pounds per month. Might be a good idea. If you use the 300 calories, you might get 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a month. So if you don't gain that amount, you should increase your calories, and 2 pounds per month will pretty much equal like half a pound per week. If you don't get half a pound per week, like on average, then you should increase your calories. The recommended amount of increase is 100 to 200, but I find it to be too much and will lead to extra fat gain. That's why I don't like to do it that way. So yeah, we've done it. We made it. You're now all set up for bulking. Now, I told you we'll talk about cutting too, but because this video is already too long, you should watch the next video. The first part is gonna be the same, so it's gonna be a short, just setting up the calories and the macros for cutting. see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and you now are able to set your macros and calories yourself. You can set up your bulking phase yourself, and yeah, this is what people usually pay other people to do for them: set up calories, set up macros, and give them a training program. So you got the nutrition part all set up, and you hopefully got some information out of it. Now let's jump into the next video, into the cutting phase.